Okay, so there might be situations that you bump into where you need to automate the copying of information from one variable to another or one parameter to another. For example, let's say we're upgrading these old models to use a more current name for new drawing formats or whatever the case may be. So if you come in and you say, well, I want this engineered by to become ENGR, for example, but I want to do it for any model that has engineered by in it, there's a couple of ways to get there, but what I'm going to show you here is just to start off with creating a table and then doing a simple parameter exists to a table, which is going to look for that particular value and write it out. So when we run this, it's going to generate that table in Excel, and it's going to show us which models have that particular property in it that is true. So as you can see here, we've got everything back as true. If we had anything that said false, we'd be able to do that too. So to be able to copy that over to a new format, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's go to NC and then table parameter. We use the copy function, and it's going to take in a table name, and then it requires an item name, parameter name, target item, so on and so forth. So we're going to basically copy from the same inputs, the same models to the same models. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to access this via Power Query to do this transform. And I've selected into that table and I've said from table and range. And I'm going to say my table 2 is going to be the output here. Now, we need the item name because that's what we're going to start with. I'm going to remove this column because we don't need it. The parameter name is what we're going to be copying from. The exists, I don't need that anymore. And now to actually add in the other columns that I need, I'm just going to add a column in, and I'm going to use Power Query to say my target item is going to be the item name. So now you can see I'm going to be copying from each model to itself, and now I need to add in the target parameter, which is going to be ENGR in this case. So now you can see very easily we've got the speaker assembly engineered by is going to be copied to itself, but to a different name, and we have it as table 2. So I'm just going to close this out, and it's going to save it down to Excel for me and show me the new table that we're going to be referencing for the actual copy command. Now, the beauty about this is that we've set up basically a process that we could then run this on any assembly or any model that we were working with, and it would work exactly the same. So the first thing we're doing here is we're creating, a table or clearing it. We're getting the current content for anything that has that in there. And then we're going to actually copy the contents of our results, which is my table 2 in this case. So we're going to put in TBL, my table 2. But before we do the copy operation, I'm going to move this down a couple. We probably want to do something else, and that is we want to refresh the worksheets. And what that's going to do is it's going to force Excel to recalculate everything so that that final table when it's being processed is up to date. So let's go ahead and let's just verify that we don't have anything up our sleeves here. So let's take a look here, and we don't have any ENGR properties anywhere. So let's go ahead and run this. So it's going to freshly read and write that information, do the Power Query transform, and then write the data back. So if we come back over here to our model, you'll see that it has in fact created our new ENGR parameter. And if we go to any of the parts in here, we'll see that it's there also. So it's Power Query is really handy for doing this type of stuff. Very, very easy to use, and also makes things quite a bit easier when it comes to manipulating data like this.